6 years into their marriage, Amelia became infatuated with Ethan, a young graduate student she mentored. She claimed her feelings for Ethan were love, while her commitment to me was merely a mundane responsibility. Even when our 3-year-old daughter, Lily, suffered a heart attack and was rushed to the ICU, Amelia remained by the side of Ethan, who had a mild cold. My heart finally broke, and I took Lily, vanishing from Amelia's life forever. But after we left, Amelia frantically searched for us, her eyes red and swollen with tears. It all began on our 6th anniversary. I'd prepared Amelia's favorite meal and arranged for a friend to watch Lily, anticipating a romantic evening. But as the clock neared 9, Amelia hadn't returned. I called, only to have the call abruptly disconnected, followed by a terse text. Working late. A familiar pang of sadness hit me. I'd already called her colleagues. They'd told me the university was quiet that day. She'd promised to be home. I wondered what could have possibly changed her mind. Just then, my phone lit up. It was a picture from Ethan, one of Amelia's students. The photo showed Amelia in Ethan's arms, her eyes sparkling with a joy I hadn't seen directed at me in months. The atmosphere was undeniably intimate. My hands trembled as I lit a cigarette, my heart feeling as if it were being torn apart. So, this was working. Late. Ethan's arrival had marked a shift in our relationship. Whenever Amelia spoke of him, her eyes held the same admiration and affection she'd once reserved for me. I called again, pleading with her to come home. 6 years of marriage, a love I thought was ingrained in my bones. I sat on the sofa all night, but Amelia never returned. Calls and texts went unanswered. The next morning, Amelia returned, seemingly oblivious to my bloodshot eyes. She wrinkled her nose at the lingering smell of smoke. Daniel, how could you smoke inside? Don't you have anything better to do? I looked at her, my voice hoarse. Where were you last night? Her face tightened. I told you, I was working. Really? Or were you with Ethan? I showed her the picture. Instead of guilt or even a flicker of remorse, Amelia grew more impatient. Daniel, enough? You and your paranoia. Ethan is my student. I work hard all day, supporting us. I don't understand what your problem is. She stormed upstairs, leaving me enveloped in despair. Her words stung. She was supporting us? When Lily was born with a congenital heart condition, requiring constant care, I, a concert pianist, had given up my career so Amelia could pursue her dreams. I remembered vividly her tears of gratitude, her promise that she would cherish me forever. Now, just 3 years later, her heart had changed. My friend brought Lily home. She ran to Amelia, only to be brushed aside. Lily sat dejectedly on a small stool by the coffee table. Daddy, Mommy's on the phone with a boy. She won't talk to me. Lily's innocent eyes welled up. Amelia's coldness wasn't just towards me. It extended to our daughter. It was as if Lily's illness embarrassed her. Daddy, Lily whispered, doesn't Mommy like me? She always looks unhappy when she sees me. My heart ached. The person on the phone was undoubtedly Ethan. That afternoon, Ethan arrived at our home with his 5-year-old nephew. Hi, Daniel. I'm Amelia's student, he said, a smug look in his eyes. But when Amelia appeared, his demeanor instantly shifted. Amelia, does Daniel seem unwelcoming? Of course not. You're always welcome here, she said, glaring at me. A wave of pain washed over me. I remembered our first meeting at an art exhibition, her instant infatuation with me, the pianist. She'd vowed to love me always, no matter who else came along. Now, her warmth was reserved for Ethan, while I received only coldness. Ethan turned to me, a condescending smile on his face. Daniel, you're such a good husband, staying home with Lily. You must not have much in common with Amelia anymore. I instinctively tried to hide the truth. Marriages change after a while. Ethan laughed. Not mine. Amelia says I've shown her what true connection feels like. His words were a blatant insult, yet Amelia nodded in agreement. He's right, Daniel. You need to take a good look at yourself. You're always picking fights. I wish you were half as understanding as Ethan. My heart felt like it was bleeding. Before I could confront her, Lily's cries echoed from her room. I rushed in to find her head covered in blood. "Lily, what happened?" I asked. "Daddy, the boy is bad. He wanted my castle toy, and I wouldn't give it to him. He hit me. It hurts, Daddy." Lily's condition couldn't handle stress. I tried to comfort her, but before I could scold the boy, Ethan spoke. "Daniel, kids will be kids. It's normal for them to roughhouse." "Normal? My daughter is bleeding. Whose kid are you talking about?" I was about to lose my temper when Amelia intervened, stopping me. "Enough, Daniel. Ethan's right. Kids play rough. Don't make a big deal out of it." "And Lily," she said, turning to our daughter, "you're being selfish. He's a guest. It's just a toy." Amelia snatched the castle from Lily and handed it to Ethan's nephew. The boy smirked, sticking his tongue out at us. Lily sobbed harder. "Amelia, how could you? You know Lily can't." I started, disbelief and pain warring within me. Amelia cut me off. "Daniel, you're being unreasonable. Just because Lily has a heart condition doesn't mean everyone has to cater to her." She turned to the boy, beaming. "Come on, sweetie. It's too noisy here. Let's go to the aquarium." I watched them leave, Lily clinging to me, heartbroken. "Daddy, why doesn't Mommy ever take me?" she whispered. Lily had begged to go to the aquarium with Amelia for months, only to be met with excuses. Now, Amelia readily took Ethan's nephew. As I held Lily, the room spun. Amelia's heart belonged to Ethan, and her affection extended to his nephew. She didn't love me, and consequently, she didn't love our daughter. Swallowing my own grief, I hugged Lily tight. "It's okay. Mommy won't take you, but Daddy will. Daddy's here." I noticed Lily's irregular heartbeat and rushed her to the hospital. The doctor's face was grim. "Mr. Carter, Lily's condition has worsened. She can't handle any more stress." On the way home, Lily looked at my worried face and asked, "Daddy, am I going to die?" My eyes filled with tears. "No, never. Daddy, we'll protect you." The house was empty when we returned. Amelia still hadn't come home, even though classes had ended. I knew she was with Ethan. I remembered. Years passed, when Amelia would rush home even for lunch, just to spend a few extra minutes with Lily and me. Those were the years she loved us most. A few days later, I received a message from Ethan, asking to meet at a coffee shop. He got straight to the point. "Daniel, leave Amelia. You're not young anymore. You can't give her what she wants." I almost laughed. "Ethan, that's quite arrogant. Amelia's feelings for you are just infatuation." He sneered. "Infatuation? You're delusional. What do you think you have to offer Amelia? A sick daughter who's probably going to die." "What did you say?" Rage consumed me. I lunged at him, but he didn't fight back. Suddenly, Amelia appeared, shielding Ethan with her body. "Stop it, Daniel." Ethan came to apologize. "How can you be so unreasonable?" My vision blurred. I remembered a car accident years ago, being trapped in the wreckage as smoke billowed around me. Amelia had fought her way through the crowd, gripping my hand, tears streaming down her face. She told me she loved me more than anything, that she'd rather die with me than live without me. Now, she was protecting another man. I felt like a fool. I stumbled out of the coffee shop, Amelia's wary gaze following me, Ethan's smug look burning into my back. A few days later, my mother fell ill, and I had to leave Lily with Amelia. Hours later, Amelia called. Lily was in the ICU. I raced to the hospital, but the waiting area outside the ICU was empty. I called Amelia. "Where are you?" "Lily's in there." Her voice was laced with impatience. "Ethan isn't feeling well. I came back to be with him." Tears streamed down my face. "Amelia, are you serious? Our daughter is fighting for her life. Ethan's a grown man. He doesn't need you. You're Lily's mother." Amelia's voice turned to ice. "Enough, Daniel. I'm tired of hearing that. Yes, I'm Lily's mother, but I'm also myself. My life isn't about you and Lily." The words cut like a knife. "So, being with Ethan isn't about being trapped?" Silence. Then, she hung up. Lily spent nearly 2 weeks in the ICU. Amelia never visited, never even called. When I returned home to collect some belongings, our nanny pulled me aside. "Mr. Carter, you need to talk to your wife. Lily is fragile, and she keeps bringing that student's nephew over. He teases her, takes her toys. It's like he's her favorite child. It's what triggered this attack." The nanny's words were the final blow. I couldn't deny it anymore. Amelia didn't love me, and therefore, she didn't love Lily. We were an inconvenience. After the nanny left, I packed our things, leaving behind a divorce agreement. If Amelia felt trapped by Lily and me, I would grant her wish. We disappeared from her life. We settled into a new apartment. Lily, ever resilient, never questioned the move, simply eating her meals quietly. A month later, Amelia called. "Daniel, are you done with this charade? Come home. I tore up your divorce agreement." Her voice was still cold, but it no longer stung. "We're getting divorced, Amelia. I'm not joking. I don't want anything. I just want Lily." She paused, a hint of panic in her voice. "Daniel, don't do this. We've been married for so long. Why be so cruel?" I looked at Lily, playing in the living room. "Cruel? Have you even visited Lily in the hospital? Since Ethan came along, your life has revolved around him. Lily and I have become a burden." Amelia's voice hardened again. "Daniel, why do you keep bringing this up? Ethan is suffering too. He doesn't want to break up our family. Why can't you just turn a blind eye?" I scoffed. "You turn a blind eye. I want a divorce. I don't want you anymore." Amelia, accustomed to being adored, seemed genuinely angry. "Fine, Daniel. Have it your way. But don't come crawling back." "I won't. See you at the courthouse tomorrow morning." I arrived early, but Amelia showed up 2 hours later, Ethan by her side. The moment he saw me, Ethan's eyes filled with fake tears. "Daniel, please don't do this. It's my fault. I don't want Amelia's family to break up because of me. She really loves you." Amelia looked at him, touched. She turned to me. "Daniel, are you still going through with this?" Ethan's performance was pathetic, but Amelia seemed oblivious, or perhaps she simply didn't care. "Divorce," I said firmly, turning towards the courthouse. Suddenly, Ethan dropped to his knees. "Daniel, please, don't divorce Amelia. I don't want to be the reason her family falls apart." "Ethan, get up," Amelia said, glaring at me. "Fine, Daniel. We'll get divorced. But don't regret this." The procedure was quick. As we signed the papers, I expected Amelia to leave with Ethan, triumphant. Instead, she clutched the divorce certificate, her eyes filled with a strange panic. As I turned to leave, she called out, her voice trembling. "Daniel, is this really over?" I almost laughed. After all the pain she'd inflicted, she acted as if she were the victim. "Yes," I said, walking away. I started interviewing for music teaching positions. Touching the keys again felt like coming home. As I played, applause erupted. I turned to see a vibrant woman with long, wavy hair standing behind me. "Serena," I said, recognizing a former colleague from the orchestra. "Impressive, Daniel. You haven't lost your touch? Is this your school?" I asked, gesturing around. She nodded. "Yes. After you left, the orchestra went downhill. I decided to open my own music school, nurture some new talent." "But why are you working? Weren't you staying home with your daughter because of her illness?" "I'm divorced," I said quietly. Serena listened intently as I recounted my story, her anger palpable. "That's unbelievable. How could she do that? You gave up everything for her, and she has an affair with her student. I'm so angry for you." "It's over," I said, not wanting to dwell on the past. Serena, sensing my mood, dropped the subject. I started teaching piano at her school. Sometimes, when Lily finished school early, Serena would pick her up. One evening, I took them both out to dinner. Lily adored Serena, and I watched, amused, as they walked hand in hand ahead of me. Imagine my surprise when Amelia appeared at the restaurant. Her eyes reddened as she saw Lily and me with Serena. "Daniel, how could you? Taking our daughter out with another woman. Is this why you divorced me?" Did you ever even think about me? She demanded. Before I could respond, Serena slammed her chopsticks down. Amelia, you have some nerve. Daniel is divorced. He can have dinner with whoever he wants. And frankly, you, a cheating wife, have no right to cry. I smirked. Serena had always been fiery, and Amelia was no match for her, especially when she was clearly in the wrong. The surrounding diners, having overheard the exchange, glared at Amelia. Her face burned. Daniel, you're just going to let her insult me like this? She hissed. I put a cherry tomato on Lily's plate, then looked up at Amelia. Is she wrong? We're divorced, Amelia. You have no right to interfere in my life. Amelia started, but then her eyes fell on Lily, and her expression turned to anger. Lily, come home with Mommy. Don't stay with your father and her. Lily burst into tears. No, I want Daddy and Serena. Mommy's mean. She's a liar. Amelia looked stunned. Lily, what are you saying? I'm your mother. How can you be so heartless? No other woman can replace your own mother. Serena hugged Lily, soothing her. Amelia, you remember you have a daughter? I thought you had Ethan. That was enough, wasn't it? You treat Lily like a toy, picking her up and discarding her as you please. Amelia's face paled. She knelt down, her voice softening. Lily, Mommy was wrong. Okay? Come home with me. I promise I'll spend more time with you. I'll stop working so much. Lily clung tighter to Serena. No, I want Serena. Mommy only likes that man. She doesn't like Daddy or me. Tears rolled down Amelia's cheeks. I felt nothing but weariness. Amelia, it's over. You said Lily and I were holding you back. We left, and now you're clinging on. Why? She began, but just then, Ethan arrived. Amelia, he called out. Serena rolled her eyes. My God, you're a grown man. Don't you have any shame, being someone's mistress? Ethan looked at Amelia, expecting her to defend him, but she just stared at Lily and me, her heart clearly breaking. After dinner, I dropped Serena off at her apartment. Thank you for tonight, I said sincerely. Don't mention it, Daniel. Be glad it's over. A rotten marriage is best ended. You dodged a bullet. Amelia is clearly delusional to let a man like you go. Serena's smile was bright, and I felt an unexpected flutter in my chest. That night, Amelia bombarded me with voice messages. Daniel, I was wrong. Please stop punishing me. For Lily's sake, let's get back together. A surge of anger coursed through me. Get back together? Amelia, you don't deserve to be a mother. Where were you when Lily was in the ICU? I have to remind you? You were with Ethan because he had a cold. Pathetic. Amelia's next message was choked with sobs. Daniel, I know I was wrong. Please, don't hold it against me. I'll never do it again. I didn't reply. I blocked her number. The next day, Amelia showed up at Lily's kindergarten, trying to take her. Lily screamed, refusing to go, clinging to Serena. The two women ended up in a scuffle. The teacher called me. I rushed over, my eyes searching for Serena. Serena, are you okay? I'm fine. That woman was no match for me. I turned to see Amelia, looking defeated. Daniel, she whispered, I was just attacked, and you're concerned about her? My voice was cold. Ms. Hayes, we're divorced. My life is no longer your concern. And please respect Lily's wishes. Lily hugged me tight. I want to stay with Daddy, not Mommy. Children are acutely aware of adult emotions, and Amelia's repeated betrayals had shattered Lily's trust. Lily, please, Amelia begged, tears streaming down her face. I'm your mother. Amelia, don't harass my daughter. She's not a toy you can pick up and discard as you please. If Lily suffers because of you again, I won't hesitate to take action. Amelia stared at me, heartbroken. Daniel, do you really not love me anymore? I scoffed. Amelia, you're being naive. Do you really think there's any love left after all this? Perhaps out of spite, Amelia announced her relationship with Ethan the following day. She started appearing where I was, flaunting her relationship. Mutual friends relayed pictures of them together, but I didn't bother looking. I focused on my students, my music, feeling my passion rekindle. One evening, Serena sent me a link. It was for a national piano competition. What? I started, confused. Daniel, she said seriously, you're wasting your talent here. You belong on a bigger stage. Your music deserves to be heard. She winked at Lily. Isn't that right, Lily? Lily nodded enthusiastically. Daddy's the best piano player. Serena looked at me, a slight blush creeping up her cheeks. And I have a selfish reason too. What's that? I asked, meeting her gaze. I want to see you shine again, she whispered. Back where you belong. A wave of gratitude and something else, something I couldn't quite define, washed over me. I agreed to compete. While I prepared, Serena cared for Lily. One afternoon, as I was leaving to take Serena and Lily to the aquarium, I found Amelia waiting outside my apartment. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears, throwing her arms around me. Daniel, I miss you so much. Please forgive me. Let's go home, the three of us. I looked at her, my heart heavy. Amelia, we don't have a home anymore. I don't love you. I'm not angry, not because I'm forgiving, but because you're not worth it. I pushed her away and turned to leave, but she blocked my path. I don't believe you. It's Serena, isn't it? You wouldn't be like this if it weren't for her. I sighed, exhausted by her distorted reality. Amelia, your biggest flaw is that you never take responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. Has your heart really changed? Amelia's eyes widened. I'll break up with Ethan. Since the divorce, I've realized I still love you. Let's go back to the way things were. Please. It's too late, I said, pushing past her. On the day of the competition, I saw Serena and Lily in the audience, cheering me on. Their support calmed my nerves. I sailed through the preliminaries. To celebrate, we went out for hot pot. That night, after Lily fell asleep in the car, Serena, slightly drunk, turned to me. Daniel, the first time I saw you, you were playing on stage. I've had a crush on you ever since. She leaned in and kissed me. Amelia, standing outside my car, witnessed the entire scene. She turned and walked away, devastated. The next day, I learned Amelia had broken up with Ethan. She started appearing at the school, trying to win back Lily and me, trying to recreate the past. But neither Lily nor I could forget what she had done. One day, Lily looked at the lunch Amelia had brought, her voice cold. Mommy, don't bring this anymore. I can't eat peanuts. My throat hurts. Why? Amelia asked, confused. I glanced at her. Lily is allergic to peanuts. Didn't you know? Amelia's lips trembled. I'm sorry, she whispered, looking at us with guilt. But her apologies and belated affection were meaningless. When Serena appeared, Lily ran into her arms, their bond undeniable. Amelia looked lost. That evening, Amelia came to my apartment, our wedding rings clutched in her hand. I started to close the door, but she stuck her hand in the way, preventing me from shutting it completely. Daniel, I know you don't love me anymore, but please, give me another chance. I came home, and it was empty. No you, no Lily. I regret everything. Regret? Amelia, we're adults. Some things can't be forgiven. You didn't just wrong me, Amelia. You wronged yourself. Remember when Lily was born, and the doctors told us to give up? You held her so tight, begging me to save her. Remember the car accident, when you risked your life to pull me from the wreckage? The tragedy is that Lily and I were truly loved by you, and then, just as truly, discarded like a burden. Amelia started to cry. I'm sorry, Daniel. I don't know what happened to me. I loved you both so much. After that, Amelia disappeared. Soon after, news broke that her winning art submission, the one that had secured her place at the university, had been plagiarized. The evidence was provided by Ethan. It turned out Amelia had stolen the artwork from her best friend, Serena's sister. Overwhelmed by the betrayal and the subsequent online harassment orchestrated by Amelia, her friend had taken her own life. Ethan had sought revenge for his sister, meticulously plotting Amelia's downfall. He wanted to destroy her life, just as she had destroyed his sister's. Amelia, once so bright and promising, had become a stranger. She had thrown away everything she'd ever held dear. I won the piano competition. During my acceptance speech, I proposed to Serena. Serena, I want to share this moment, this victory, with you. Meeting you has been the greatest blessing of my life. Will you marry me? Yes, she whispered, her eyes shining. The audience erupted in applause. As I slipped the ring on her finger, I saw Amelia standing in the back, tears streaming down her face. After the competition, we learned of a new treatment for congenital heart conditions available abroad. Serena and I decided to move overseas with Lily. 5 years later, we returned for a visit. While strolling through a street food market, we saw Amelia running a small crepe stall. She saw us, saw Lily holding Serena's hand, and her eyes filled with tears. She quickly turned and pedaled away. Lily looked at me, confused. Daddy, who was that lady? Why did she run away? I thought for a moment, then said, I don't know, sweetheart. Maybe she was just a stranger. I squeezed Serena and Lily's hands, and we walked deeper into the bustling market, leaving the past behind.